magbibigay tanglaw. Kaya sa puso ko nagdangin, kalapatan niya'y aking Dakila ka, O Diyos, tapat ka ng tunay, magmula pa sa ugat ng aming lahi. Mundo'y magunaw man, maaasahan kang lagi, maging hanggang wakas nitong buhay. Kaya, O Diyos, ika'y sa buong mundo'y aking nakita ang iyong taglay. Pag-ibig mo'y walang hanggan. Dakila ka, O Diyos, tapat ka ng tunay, magmula pa sa ugat ng aming lahi. Mundo'y magunaw man, maaasahan kang lagi, maging hanggang wakas nitong buhay. Dakila ka, O Diyos, sa habang panahon, katapatan mo'y katibay ng sandigan. Sa bawat bigati, tagumpay man ay naroon, daluyan ang pag-asa kung kailangan'y hinahon. Pag-ibig mo nga nang sa'kin noon hanggang ngayon, dakila ka, dakila ka, dakila ka, O Diyos.
Ikaw, huwag ka muna aalis. Naghahanap ka pa rin ba ng kaibigan mo na mahihiraman ng...
Okay, again, good morning. Sir Chappy, wala akong maintindihan. Walang sounds. Okay. Bukas na lang. Ayan, so mag-rationality tayo ng number 71 to number 100. I think nasa NP4 na po tayo kahapon. NP4. Ayan, number 71, tama po ba? Kasi 70 yung aking na-upload. At tapos na po tayo dyan. So next, we have your number 71. So I hope matapos na natin bago mag-lunch break. So number 71, to collect data for her study, nurse interviews 6 patients who has experienced complications during and after operations. She interviews the patient 2 or 3 times until the point of saturation has been reached. To what does the term saturation in qualitative research refers to? A, sample size. B, data repetition. C, subject exhaustion. Or D, researcher exhaustion. Okay, so dito sa ating question number 71, The STEM question is the definition of the term saturation in qualitative research. So take note, pag sinabi po nating saturation, kadalasan lamang po itong nangyayari sa qualitative research. Huwag niyong kakalimutan. Okay? So saturation is usually done in your qualitative research. So you are yielding the same answer and again and again and again sa mga inyong participants or mga respondents. Pag nag-interview ka dito, the same po yung inyong nakukuhang response. Okay? So pag paulit-ulit yung ating response na nakukuha sa ating mga respondents, so it will yield the validity of your data. So importante din po itong saturation to yield validity. Ano daw ang kanyang purpose? To yield validity. Yan. At kadalasan itong saturation na ito, ginagamit din po natin ito sa mga purposive sampling method. Yan. Purposive sampling design. Yan. So pag sinabi natin purposive sampling design, ito po ay part ng non-probability sampling method. Yan. Purposive non-probability sampling. Yan. So sabi ko nga kanina, pag nag-i-interview daw itong si researcher, paulit-ulit daw niyang naririnig yung comments o yung themes o yung response ng ating mga respondents. Paulit-ulit na lamang yung kanyang na-yield na response. So anong ibig sabihin ulit-ulit? Repetition. So kung titingnan natin dito sa ating number 71, sabi ko sa inyo, when there are two opposing option, possible nandun yung tamang sagot. Pero sabi ko din kahapon, pero hindi lahat ng chances ay applicable po yung ganong technique. Kasi kung nakikita nyo dito sa ating number 71, meron ditong letter C at letter D na naglalaban. We have your subject exhaustion and your researcher exhaustion. Pero wala po sa kanilang tamang sagot. So wala sa kanilang dalawa ang tamang sagot. So tingnan nyo din minsan yung mga opposing choices. Okay? Kung applicable ba siya sa tanong or hindi. Okay? Kasi pag sinabi po nating data saturation means the data repetition. So the correct answer here is letter boy. Paulit-ulit na lang kasi yung naririnig mong comment, feedback sa mga respondents mo sa ating qualitative research. Okay? So bakit kailangan mong gawin itong ating data repetition o yung ating saturation? Para ma-yield mo yung validity of information. So letter B is the correct answer. Okay? So data repetition number 71. Sino nakakuha? That is an actual board question. Ano pong topic? Rationalin po tayo. Mamaya ay communicable disease. Okay, so letter B is the correct answer. That is your data repetition. Ito ay part ng ating sampling technique na purposive sampling method or design. So under non-probability design po ito. Okay? So we have your data repetition. Saturation, data repetition. Na-saturate na. Paulit-ulit na lang kasi yung nakukolek mong data. Yung response nila, paulit-ulit na lang. Okay? So that is your number 71. Next situation. Romy, 58 years old, has been a cigarette smoker since age 15. He has nagging cough and hoarseness of voice. So take note, nagging cough and hoarseness of voice is the warning sign of your lung cancer. Yan. Warning sign of lung cancer. And dyspnea. Based on the physical and laboratory findings, the physician suspected him of having a lung cancer. Yan, lung cancer. Number 1 cancer po yan, leading cancer morbidity and mortality. Yan, so that's your cancer. Leading cause of cancer in the Philippines. We have your lung cancer. For men, yan. So number 72, which of the following is not a known predisposing factor to lung cancer? So the question here is not a known. Anong ibig sabihin ng not? Negative question. Predisposing factor to lung cancer. So alin dito yung hindi daw predisposition ng lung cancer? A. House is near a banana plantation. B. works as a sprayer of vegetables and fruit trees. C, lives in suburban area. Or D, suburban pala. Or letter D, living with mother who is a tobacco smoker. So, hanapin muna natin dito yung mga positive na mga predisposing factor ng ating cancer. So, anong uunahin natin ditong lalagyan ng positive sign? Pag nilagyan mo ng positive, ibig sabihin yan, that is a predisposing factor. Okay? Kasi ang hinahanap mo, not a predisposing factor. Kailangan mag-match yung ating symbol. Negative, negative. Positive, positive, mali yun. Okay? So, unahin natin dito yung, syempre alam natin, lung cancer po yan sa baga. So, what is the strongest risk factor of having lung cancer? Smoking. Pero, sa letter D, sinanay niya ang naninigarilyo. Still, so kahit na sino pa ang miyembro ng inyong family or household ang naninigarilyo, still that is a predisposing factor for your lung cancer. Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na second-hand smoke at saka third-hand smoke. Mas malala po yung second-hand smoke kesa yung ating cigarette smoker. Okay? Kesa yung smoker natin. Mas malala po yung effect kapag sa second-hand smoke. Okay? Tandaan niyo yan. So, letter D is a predisposing factor. So, tatanggalin natin ang option letter D. Tama? Tanggal ang letter D kasi that is a predisposing factor of lung cancer. Ang hinahanap ay yung hindi predisposing factor. Next, letter B. Works as a sprayer of vegetable and fruit trees. Pesticides. Okay? So, sprayer of vegetables, ibig sabihin niya, nagpe-pesticide, spray po siya. So, pwedeng nalalanghap din po niya yung pesticide na yan. So, that is also a predisposing factor for having a lung cancer. Positive din po yan. So, between letter A and letter C, sino dyan ang mas at risk sa lung cancer? Yung nakatira malapit sa banana plantation or yung nakatira sa suburban area? Anong sagot natin? A or C? Anong sinagot po ng karamihan without looking your notes? Kasi I think nasa 800 items po yan. Okay, so ang tamang sagot natin dito, yan. So letter A, banana plantation, that is also a predisposing factor of your lung cancer. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yan. So, living near a banana plantation is also a predisposing factor of lung cancer. So, anong sagot natin? Ang hindi po predisposing factor dito is yung letter C. Negative po ito. Negative. Kasi ang mas at risk po sa ating lung cancer ay yung mga nakatira sa urban area. Mga urbanized area. Sa mga densely populated areas. Example, sa mga syudad. Okay? Example, sa Manila, sa Quezon City. Yan, yung mga densely populated area na po. Yung mga overpolluted na lugar. Okay? Pero pag sinabi mong suburban kasi, suburban is hindi pa masyadong urbanized, hindi pa siya masyadong masyudad. Yan. Kasi suburban nga siya. So, the correct answer is letter C. Kasi it should be urban area. Okay? So, letter C is the correct answer. Sinakakuha. Why positive po ang A? Kasi banana plantation yung binubuga po ng ating factory. Yan, yung usok. So that is a predisposing factor also of your lung cancer. Plantation means planta, hindi po yung taniman ng banana. Baka yun po yung pagkakaintindi nyo. Hindi po yan ng taniman ng banana. Ang ibig sabihin ng banana plantation is planta po yan ng banana product. Yan. So that is your banana plantation or factory. Akala nyo ay taniman. Patay tayo dyan. Letter A is a predisposing factor. According to NCBI, living near a banana plantation and working in a banana plantation is a risk factor of lung cancer. Akala nyo ay taniman. So letter C is the correct answer. Okay? May maling akala tayo minsan. So letter C is the correct answer. Lives in suburban area. Next, number 73. Upon history taking, the nurse notes that the cough of a patient with lung cancer usually starts off to be So, lung cancer, ano daw yung panimulang ubo ng may mga lung cancer. So, always remember, pag sinabi mong panimula, those are the warning signs. Okay? So, ano bang warning sign ng lung cancer na sinabi natin? A nagging cough and hoarseness of voice. So, pag sinabi mong nagging cough, that is a persistent cough. Okay? A persistent dry cough. Tandaan niyo yan. So, pag sinabi natin persistent dry cough, asan yun sa choices natin? A, B, C, or D. Ang sagot natin is letter dog. A dry and persistent cough. So, that is the warning sign of your lung cancer. Yan. May nagkamali pa po ba? Kasi blood tinge is medyo advanced na po yung kanyang cancer dyan. Kasi meron na tayong mga cavitation siguro sa kanyang baga. Pag productive na yung cough, yan. Pag dark yellow sputum, that is more on infection, not cancer. Lung infection po ito. Pwedeng pneumonia, pwedeng bacterial pneumonia, etc. Okay? So, yun. So, letter D is the correct answer. It is a dry and persistent cough. That is your warning sign of your cancer. So, lung cancer usually starts off to be dry and persistent cough. So, sinakakuha, number 73. Okay, very good. Yan, baka nagkamali pa kayo. You must remember your warning signs of cancer, the caution as mnemonics. Ano yung caution as natin? O, sino nakaalala ng caution as sa ating lung cancer? C-A-U-T-I-O-N-U-S. C, anong C natin? Changes in bladder and bowel habits. Di ba? O, changes in bowel and bladder habits. A, abnormal vaginal bleeding. U, ano U natin? Anong U natin? Anong U? Caution as. Letter C, changes in bladder and bowel habit. A is abnormal vaginal bleeding. U, anong U natin? Ulcers that does not heal. Tama ba? Anong U? Asan na kayo? Letter T, thickening or lumps in the breast or elsewhere, di ba? Unusual bleeding yung U, yan. Letter C, anong letter C? Changes in bladder and bowel habit. Yung letter A, unusual bleeding. Anong letter A? A sore throat that doesn't. Anong a sore throat that doesn't heal? Wala pa tayong a sore throat that doesn't heal. Walang a sore throat. It made my day. A sore throat. Parang ako lang may sore throat. Yan. Abdominal bleeding, ano? Hindi ko pa natuturo yan. Yung letter T, thickening or lumps. Yan, thickening or lumps. Thickening or lumps elsewhere. Yung letter I, indigestion or dysphagia. Tapos yung letter O, obvious changes in the color of your moles or whites. Nagbabago yung kulay naman yung mga nunal. Yan. Obvious. Yan. Then next letter N, nagging cough and persistent hoarseness of voice. Yan. Nagging cough and persistent dry cough. Yan. Nagging cough or persistent hoarseness of voice. Tapos yung letter U, unexplained anemia. Tapos yung letter S, sudden weight loss. Unexplained anemia, yung letter U. Tapos yung letter S, a sudden weight loss. So yun. So that is your caution as. Huwag niyong kakalimutan. Natawa ako sa a sore throat that does not heal. Yan. Yan, okay? Excuse me po. Ako'y nahigop ng salabat. Ako'y sore throat. A sore throat that does not heal. Yan. So it made my day. So caution us. Letter C, A, U, T, I, O, N, U, S. So pag tinanong ka, ilan daw yung warning signs ng cancer? There are 9 warning signs of cancer. Changes in your bowel and bladder habit. Abnormal vaginal bleeding. U is your ulcers that does not heal. T, thickening of the breast or lumps elsewhere. I, indigestion or dysphagia, difficulty of swallowing and dysphagia natin. Indigestion. Next, letter O, obvious changes in the color of your warts or mole. Yung letter N natin, nagging cough or persistent hoarseness of your voice. Yung letter U, unexplained anemia. Yung letter S, sudden weight loss. So, that is a dry and persistent. Letter N po yan sa ating warning sign. Yan. Okay, so yun. So, we have your caution as mnemonics. Changes in bowel bladder habit, dyan papalo yung ating bladder cancer, tsaka yung ating bowel or colon cancer. Tapos yung A, abnormal vaginal bleedings. Tama ba ako? Letter A is abnormal vaginal bleedings. Correct me if I'm wrong ha, kasi minsan is na paghahalo-halo ko yan. Letter A is abnormal vaginal bleeding. Common po yan sa ating mga endometrial or uterine cancer. Anong letter U kung unusual yun? Letter U is ulcers that does not heal. Yan. Ulcers that does not heal for skin cancer. Pati yung thickening naman, thickening of the breast or elsewhere, that is your breast cancer. Tapos yung letter I, indigestion. So pwede po yan sa ating gastric cancer, mga ganyan. Next, we have also your letter O, obvious changes in the color of your warts or moles. That is your skin cancer din. Tapos, yung letter N natin, nagging cough for lung cancer. Unexplained anemia for your leukemias. Then, sudden weight loss for all types of cancer. So, yun. That is your caution us. Warning signs po yan. So, shampoo yan. Okay? Next, number 74. Which diagnostic procedure is commonly used to establish the diagnosis of lung cancer? Yun yung keyword natin. Diagnosis of lung cancer. So, it provides detailed description of the tracheobronchial tree and it allows biopsies for suspicious area. CT scan po ba ang pumapasok sa ating bronchial tree o sa tracheobronchial tree? No. Kasi hindi po niya makikita yung tracheobronchial tree mo. CT scan, mali. Next, sputum cytology. No, hindi niya makikita yung detailed description ng tracheobronchial tree. Letter D, PET. Hindi rin niya makikita yung ating tracheobronchial tree. So, makakita lang ay yung bronchoscopy. Bronchoscopy. So, with the aid of your bronchoscope, okay, a tube which is inserted into your tracheobronchial tree with the camera doon sa kanyang tip. So, masisilip natin yung kanyang tracheobronchial tree. At pwede rin po tayo ditong mag-biopsy. Tawag mo doon, bronchoscopy with biopsy. So, the correct answer here is letter boy. So, wag niyong kakalimutan yan. So, pag tinanong ka sa board exam kung ano daw yung pinaka-detailed diagnostic test for your lung cancer, your answer in the board is bronchoscopy. Paulit-ulit po itong tinatanong sa actual board exam. Paulit-ulit po ito. Nagbabago man ang situation pero isinisingit lagi nila itong tanong na ito. Anong gagamitin mo para i-diagnose ang lung cancer? Answer is bronchoscopy. Okay? Bronchoscopy. So letter B is the correct answer. Next, number 75. What is the most appropriate position for laryngoscopy? Laryngoscopy. So, laryngoscope, in-insert natin yan when the patient is in a sniffing position. Anong position ng patient? Sniffing position. So, anong position niya? A. A. High Fowler's. B. Supine. C. Lateral recumbent. Pag sinabi mong lateral recumbent, side-lying po ito. So, tanggal na agad ito kasi side-lying position yung lateral recumbent position. So, kung mapapansin natin, naglalaban dito yung high Fowler's at saka semi-Fowler's. So, anong tamang sagot? Ha? Anong tamang sagot? Okay. So, take note, di ba, sabi ko sa inyo, it is not always applicable kapag may opposing choices. So, tingnan nyo kung nababagay po siya sa tanong. Laryngoscope. Saan ka nakakita ng taong ini-intubate na naka-high Fowler's at naka-semi Fowler's? Paano mo may sniffing position yung ulo niya kapag naka-high Fowler's po siya or naka-semi Fowler's? So, hindi mo mapro-provide yung ating sniffing position dyan. So, sniffing position is best achieved when the patient is lying on supine position. Okay? So, letter B is the correct answer. So, wala po sa letter A at letter D ang sagot. Kailangan kasi naka-sniffing position or hyperextended yung neck ng patient natin. So, maha-hyperextend mo ba yung neck niya kapag naka-high Fowler's siya or naka-semi Fowler's? No. You can only hyperextend the neck of your patient if the patient is lying flat on bed or supine position. And that is the ideal position of your patient for the entry of your laryngoscope. So, letter B is the correct answer. Lumabas po yan last May 2022. The position of your patient for laryngoscopy. Okay? So, the correct answer is letter B, supine. Supine position. So, last May lamang po yan tinanong. At tayo lamang po yung meron yan. Oo. Assurance yan na wala pong ibang may hawak niyan. Yung mga lumabas last May. So, pag ikaw ay naka-review sa ibang review center, nagdo-double review ka ngayon, pansinin mo, wala pa yan mga tanong na yan sa kanila. So, yung mga previous pa lang meron na, pero yung ngayon wala pa. O bakit nyo pinalitan? Yan, bakit nyo pinalitan? Akala mo kasi yung bago, akala mo siya na yung okay. Yung pala, mas malala pala siya. Doon ka na sa inyong nakasanayan sa loob. Yeah. Pumapag-ibig po tayo dyan. Dapat ganun yun. Doon ka na sa sanay mo, doon ka na sa kampante ka, doon ka sa naramdaman mo na. Di yung bagong kilala mo lang. Napalingon ka lang, nagbago ka na. Wag ganun. Sino yung una, yun yung piliin mo. Wag mong babaguhin yun kasi mamamali ka talaga. O, tingnan mo nangyari sir, nagkamali ka. O, sayang ha. Sayang. Ganun naman talaga sa board exam, di ba? Never change your answer in the board exam. Kung ano yung inyong first instinct, yun ang sagot mo. Kasi possible, yun yung itinulak ng subconscious mind mo. Yan. Yun kasi yung yung sa ating memory kasi may mga times kasi na biglang merong nagsisink in sa ating utak na bigla-bigla lang tapos biglang mamaya mawawala na naman. Pero yun ay itinulak or parang pinush yan ng subconscious mind mo. Kasi yung information na yun, naka-store na yun sa subconscious mind mo. Parang lang siya, nag-glitch lang siya. Parang letter A, ganon. Ay hindi pala. Pinalitan mo, mali ka na tuloy yan. Yan yung napapala naman nagpapalit. Yan. So, wag magpalit. Dapat doon tayo sa mamali ka. Talagang may nag-mute na naman sa akin. Siya nag-mute sa akin, si Zoom. Stick to one, tama. Yan. Huwag magpapalit, pansinin nyo. Mapinapalitan yung sagot, yun yung tamang sagot. Next, number 75, that is your supine position. Next, number 76. What is an appropriate way for a nurse to dispose of a printed patient information? So, this is the record management at lumabas din po ito sa board exam. In a standard trash can. Punit-punitin mo daw ng paulit-ulit. Tapos itapon mo daw ito sa standard trash can. B. Place in the patient paper-based chart. C. Place in a secure canister marked for shredding. Or D. Burn the documents. Unang tatanggalin natin, how to dispose a printed patient information. So take note itong mga patient informations natin. Example, mga medical chart, mga medical records nila. So meron po yung years of disposal. Meron po yung years of disposal. So ang agency po na may kinalaman sa disposal of record is the DOH. Lumabas din po ito sa board exam. DOH po yun, okay? DOH po yun. Kasi ang mga choices dati doon is, ano mga choices doon? Meron DOH, merong, tawag doon, archive office, parang National Archives, mga ganyan. So, DOH po yung sagot doon. Kung ano daw yung may authority sa disposal ng mga medical records. DOH po yung sagot doon sa board exam question na yun. Tapos, yung pagtatapon ng ating mga records kapag mga diagnostic procedure results, 5 years po yan tinatago. Diagnostic procedures. Yung mga result ng mga x-rays, MRI, ikinikip po nila yan up to 5 years. Up to 5 years po yan. Tapos, yung ating medical record naman, up to 10 years. Medical record. Up to 10 years from the last visit of your patient. 10 years from the last visit of your patient. Kunwari, 10 taon nang nakakalipas mula nung siya ay huling nagpa-check up or huling bumisita sa hospital. So, 10 years after, itatapon na natin or i-dispose na natin yung kanyang medical record. Tapos, kapag mga medico-legal naman, which is common board question, medico-legal, yan, 10 years after the case was closed. Okay, 10 years from the time the case was closed. Tandaan niyo yan. 10 years from the time the case was closed. So, kahit natapos na yung kaso, i-store pa rin nila yung medico-legal report mo up to 10 years after na ma-close yung kaso. Okay? So, ngayon, what is the appropriate way of our facility to dispose your printed patient informations like your medical records? Okay, pinupunit-punit ba natin yan? Mali. Kaya nga, di ba sabi ko kahapon, number 1 waste product in hospital is paper products. Yan, paper products. So, mali po ang ripping. Mali din po yung burning. So, is it letter B or letter C? Yung letter B, place in the patient's paper-based chart, hindi mo naman dinispose ito, kinip mo ito. So, it is not disposal, it is keeping or storing, okay? So, mali ang ating letter B. Mali yung ating letter B. So, the correct answer here is letter C. Ba yan? So, letter C po ang tamang sagot dito. Bakit? Always remember that the most appropriate way to dispose your patient information or medical record is via shredding. Ganyan din po ang ginagawa ng PRC sa inyong mga test question. Sineshred po nila yan. Sineshred nila. Pinapasok po nila yan sa ating chamber machine or shredding machine. So, yun yung pupunit. Hindi yung ikaw yung pupunit na mano-mano na pinupunit mo. So, letter C is the correct answer. Shredding ang pinaka-appropriate. Sino nakakuha niyan? I think tama nyo yan. Oo. Okay, so always remember diagnostic test results like your mga MRIs, mga ganyan, mga radiologic results MRI, CT scan result, X-ray results, it will be kept up to 5 years lang. Up to 5 years lang. Kapag mga medical records naman, 10 years from the last appearance of your patient into the facility or last visit. 10 years from the last visit or appearance. Tapos yung medical legal naman, 10 years from the date of the case was closed. Yan. Mula na nag-close na yung case, 10 years pa rin nila itong ikikip. Malinaw po? So, yun yung mga common board sa ating. Mismo po ba na ang BON ang nagsashred po, sir? No, PRC po. Because PRC is the authorized body to keep your test papers and your test examination results. Because they are the custody of records. PRC po yan. Sa ngayon po, bago na po ang director ng PRC sa Manila. So, it is impossible for the personnel inside na makapag-leak ng mga tanong sa board exam. It is impossible because sa room po kung nasaan yung shredding machine natin ay napapalibutan na po ito ng CCTV. Yan, napapalibutan na po ito ng CCTV ngayon. So, it is impossible na may mag-leak na tanong ngayon sa board exam. Kasi bago na po yung ating PRC director. Yan. Kasi last time kasi masyadong mataas yung resulta ng physician licensure exam. So, nag-conduct po siya ng, bakit ko alam yun? Basta, sikreto na lang. Nag-conduct po siya ng survey sa PRC, yung along sa Murayta. At doon nga nalaman niya na itong mga nasa harap ng PRC ay may mga pinagbebentang mga test questions doon sa harap. So yun. So nakita niya yung physician na reviewer na binebenta ng mga nasa labas. Kasi nagtaka siya, ba't ang taas ng ngayon, passing rate ng physician dati-dati ang baba. So ayun yun. Oo. So, mahigpit ngayon ng PRC kasi bago na po ang ating PRC director. So, kailangan lang nating galingan. So, kailangan ay kaya nga, sabi ko nga ay ibabagsak ko yung presyo ng ating SF2 para mabasa nyo yun kasi lahat po yun ay mga secret files natin. Compilations na po yan ng board exam questions. Yan. So, it's up to you kung magtatamad-tamad ka pa or magbabasa ka. Yan. Hindi yung tsaka mo na lang hahanapin after board exam. Parang nabasa ko to sa libro ni Sir Jonas. Binasa mo. Binalikan mo yung nandoon. Nag-rationally ka. So, mas maganda, basahin mo na in advance para sa board exam, sure ka yung tamang sagot. Hindi yung binabalikan mo pa para tingnan kung tama ba yung sinagot mo. Basta, maigpit po yung director natin ngayon. So, hindi sila basta-basta dyan. Yung mga nakapalibot na review centers dyan ay I think wala silang source ngayon sa May 2022 board exam. Yan. Kapa-kapa, kumbaga. So, galingan ninyo, okay? Basahin nyo lamang yung mga exams natin, ulit-ulitin nyo lang, isulat nyo lang yung ratio, tiyak dyan, papasa kayo sa board exam. Pero pag sinama mo ng katamaran, ewan ko na lang kung anong may problema. Gagalingan nyo, okay? Yung 800 items natin, that is a pure board exam questions. Walang tapon po dyan. Sa mga hindi po nag-avail ng book, okay lang naman yan kasi meron naman yung 800 supplements natin at saka yung ating tawag dito, cram sheet. Yan. Oo, basahin nyo yung 800. Okay? So, galingan natin kasi maigpit ang PRC ngayon. Next, number 77. For Nurse Lulu to continually practice nursing, she must satisfy the requirements set by the PRC and comply for the how many units of CPD upon renewal. Okay, A, 45 units, B, 10 units, C, 25 units, or letter D, 15 units. Ano sagot natin dito? 45, 10, 25, 15. Sabi ko, noong 2019, in-update na po ito. 15 units na po yung ating PRC CPD unit requirement. Okay? Pag tinanong kayo sa board exam, who will accredit your PRC unit? Accreditation is by your CPD Council for Nurses. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yan. CPD Council for Nurses. It is not your BON, it is not your PRC. It is the CPD Council for Nurses. Sila po yung nag-accredit ng unit. Unit accreditation. Accredits unit. So, itong 15 units na to, valid po ito na i-earn mo siya for 3 years. Earned for 3 years. 3 years validity of license. So, for the span of 3 years na valid ang lisensya mo, kailangan doon sa date na yon mo kinuha yung CPD unit. Okay, take note ha, kailangan nakapaloob sa time frame, sa validity ng license mo ka kumuha ng unit. So in any excess of your earned unit, kunwari lumagpas ka sa 15 kasi hindi ka updated, akala mo 45 pa rin, attend ng seminar, hanggang sa na-accumulate ka ng 45, pumunta ka sa PRC, ang hiningi lang pala sa'yo ay 15 lang pala. So, yung natitirang 30 units, back to zero ka na ulit for the next 3 years upon renewal of your license. Bakit back to zero ka na? Kasi hindi po yan i-honor or hindi mo yan makikerry for the next 3 years of your validity of your license. So, dapat saktong 15 lamang ang kunin mo para hindi aksaya. Kasi mahal po kaya ang mga training seminars na may CPD units. Libo-libo ang halaga. Minsan may makukuha ka libre sa mga Zoom meetings, mga webinars, pero mababa lang yung unit niya. Okay? Kailangan mo pang mag-answer ng kung ano-ano mga sagot-sagutan mo diyan para makakuha ka ng unit. Sir, paano naman po sir kung sa 3 years na yan ay hindi kami nakakuha ng CPD units? So you can ask for the certificate of undertaking sa PRC. Utang muna. So, pwede mong utangin muna yung 15 units, then the next renewal mo, kailangan mo yung bayaran. Example, pag inutang mo yung ating CPD units ngayon, tapos pinayagan ka, ni-renew yung license mo, next na renewal mo, 30 units na ang isasubmit mo. Bakit 30 units na? Yung utang mo nung nakaraang 3 taon at yung 15 units na kailangan mong i-accumulate this 3 years validity. So, magiging 30 units na for the next renewal mo. Ganun yun. So, pwede pong utangin yan sa PRC. Okay? So, huwag niyong kakalimutan. So, back to zero ka kapag nag-exist ka sa ating unit required by your PRC. Okay? Kasi pag 15 lang. Pag lumagpas ka, hindi mo na yan makikerry for the next 3 years validity of your license. Kailangan mo na namang ulit kumuha ng panibagong 15 units. Malinaw po? Under RA 10912. 10912. Yes, every 3 years ba yung 15 units, sir? Yes. Every 3 years. Ayun, nasagot ko na yan. Council po ha, council, hindi council. CPD Council for Nurses. Every 3 years, tama. O, pwedeng utangin yan. Especially kapag ikaw ay bagong pasa pa lang, tapos yung first 3 years mo, pwede mong utangin yan pag magre-renew ka. Ay ma'am, sorry po, hindi po pala ako nakakolect kasi akala ko next 3 years pa. Sige, utangin mo na lang muna, bayaran mo na lang kami next na renewal mo. Ganun naman ang PRC. Basta fill upan mo lamang yung certificate of undertaking. Oo. Okay, so tandaan nyo yan. 15 units lang since 2019 kasi pabigat daw po yan sa mga professional kaya binago yan ng Congress. Binago po yan ng 15 units. Yes, exempted ka sa first renewal. Ganon talaga yun. Lalo na pag bagong pasa ka pa lang, ganon. Tapos ano pang tatandaan nyo dyan pala? RA 10912. Yan. May tanong sa board exam din. Tanong dyan is, bakit ka daw nag-earn ng CPD units? Para saan? A, for the renewal of professional license. B, for the renewal of your professional identification card. So, ano sagot nyo? Yun lang naglalaban sa board exam. So, take note po according to RA 10912, it is not your professional license is being renewed by your CPD unit. It is your professional identification card. PIC po ang sagot. Letter B. PIC, hindi po professional license. It is your PIC. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yan. Ang nire-renew mo ay yung PIC mo, Professional Identification Card. For the requirement of, kasi word by word po, kinapi-paste lamang ng Board of Nursing sa RA 10912 yung tanong na yon. Yan, word by word. Kaya pag babasahin mo yung RA 10912, requirement for the renewal of your professional identification card. Yun yung nakalagay. PIC. Kasi may iba kasi na ang sinasagot daw is professional license. Tinuturo nila professional license. Ayan, so kailangan sa board exam is mawais tayo. Kasi hindi lahat ng alam natin na tamang sagot, ayun pala yung sagot, ay mali pala tayo. Okay? Say word by word na sa RA 10912 po yun. Renewal of your professional identification card. Sir, paano pag nurse ka na sa ibang bansa? Still, you need to renew your license. Kapag nandun ka, mag-renew ka ng license mo. Pwede mo itong ipa-renew sa inyong mga relatives basta meron kang authorization letter and proof na ikaw ay nagtatrabaho sa ibang bansa. Example, yung working visa mo at saka yung passport mo, isend mo din as a requirement for your renewal. Yung owner po yan ng PRC. Yun, nasagot ko na. Okay. Number 78. Number 78, after 3 years being assigned in the operating room, merely interested to actively join which appropriate professional organization. In the Philippines, ano po yung ating association for your OR nurses? A, ORNAP, B, NLGN, C, ADPCN, o D, APO? Anong sagot natin? Yung APO, ano po yung APO natin? APO is the Accredited Professional Organization. So, example natin dyan, PNA. Yan. So, the correct answer here, OR. Yan. OR Nurses Association of the Philippines. So, the correct answer is ORNAP. Letter A. Yan, letter A. Sa, ano naman, sa ibang bansa naman, tawag natin dyan, AORN Nurse. Yan. AOR Nurse. Association of Operating Room Nurses. Next, number 79. In 3 years' time, Nurse Lou needs to attain certain number of continuing professional development units to be able to renew her. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina. To renew her a Philippine Nurses Association membership. Membership to PNA is an ethical obligation. Take note niyo yan. It is not mandatory. It is an ethical obligation of nurses and that is voluntary. Ethical obligation but that is voluntary. It is not a mandatory membership. Huwag niyong kakalimutan. Nasa iyo yan kung gusto mo maging PNA member or hindi. So ano ba yung mga benefits kapag PNA member ka? Makakadiskwento ka sa mga PNA seminars and training. Yun lang naman. Yan. B, professional license. C, professional identification card. D, professional registration. Yung professional registration mo, hindi po yan nag-expire. Yan. Yung certificate of registration mo, hindi po yan nag-expire. So, professional license or professional identification card. Kakasabi ko lamang po yan, it is your professional identification card. Letter C is the correct answer. Next, number 80. NP5. When human needs are taken away or not met for some reasons, people experiences loss. So, I think napanood nyo na po ito sa YouTube kasi nirationalize ko po ito bago lumabas sa board exam last May. So, when human needs are taken away or not met for some reasons, people experiences loss. Using Maslow's hierarchy of human needs, which one of the following will the nurse consider as a loss in case of death? Death. A. Loss of security and sense of belonging. B. Loss of related to self-actualization. C. Physiological and safety loss. Or D. Loss of self-esteem. Ano sagot nyo? Ano sagot ninyo? Narasyon na natin yan. Nasa YouTube ko po yan. Okay, very good. The correct answer is letter A. Kapag may namamatay na loved ones, that is a loss of security and a sense of belonging. Okay? So, itong letter B natin, self-actualization, mali. Yung loss of self-esteem naman, mali din kasi ang loss of self-esteem kapag ito ikaw ay nawalan ng trabaho, nawalan ng career, yan yun. Na nagkaroon ng broken relationship, that is short loss of self-esteem. Pag physiologic loss naman, that is more on your physiologic loss. Mga amputations, yan, operations, yan, mastectomy, mga tinanggalan ng parte ng katawan. Yan, tinanggalan ka ng suso, mastectomy. Tinanggalan paa mo, amputation. Yung safety loss naman, yung mga pangyayari sa paligid mo, kunwari kidnapping, nagpatayan, nakawitness ka ng murder, yan. Ang example dyan is yung batang na-witness niya yung kaklase niyang pinatay sa school. That is your safety loss naman. May mga pinatay, may mga kidnapping, may mga hostage taking, yan. So yan yung mga safety loss natin. Okay? Pag endangered yung ating public safety, that is your safety loss. So the correct answer is letter A. Pag physiologic, yan yung mga nawalan ka ng paa, ng suso, di ka na nakakita, na bumagsak ng oxygen saturation sa inyong dugo, nahirapan ka ng huminga. So that is your physiologic loss. Yan, physiologic loss. 81. Vanji, 73 years old, comorbid with hypertension and asthma, died of COVID. Ariel grieved and mourned to the loss of his mother's untimely death. He is now aware. Yun yung keyword natin. So, kinorek ko po ito sa aking YouTube kung napansin nyo sa comment. He is now aware that his mother is one of those 13,425 deaths. The nurse will consider stage of grieving process Ariel at what experiencing. A. Depression. B. Bargaining. C. Denial and anger. Or D. Acceptance. So, always remember, Kubler-Ross grieving process, DABDA. So, DABDA. Denial and anger. Yan, magkasama yan. Denial and anger. B. Bargaining. Yan yung nakikipag-bargain ka na or nakikipag-negotiate ka kay Lord. Yan. Lord, bigyan mo lamang ako ng mahaba pang buhay. Magpapakabait na ako. Mga ganyan. Ano pa? Lord, bigyan mo lang ako ng lakas para mabisita ko lamang yung anak ko bago ako mamatay. That is your bargaining. Okay? So, nakikipag-negotiate ka kay Lord or sa tadhana or sa faith. Bargaining po yun. Ngayon, ang naglalaban dito is si depression at saka si anger. Yan. So, sa depression is depression will set in your grieving process if you are now aware to the loss. Pag meron ng awareness to the loss, that is depression. Tandaan niyo yan. So, the correct answer here is depression. Awareness to the loss, that is depression. Awareness. Aware ka na wala na yung namatay na isang tao. Aware ka na hindi na babalik yung isang taong pumanaw. That is depression. Magsising in na yung depression dyan kapag aware ka na. Dyan na yung iiyak-iyak ka na. Iiyak-iyak ka na, nade-depress ka na, di ka na kumakain, ayaw mo na halubilo sa ibang tao, nag-isolate ka na. Kasi nga na-depress ka na kasi alam mo na hindi na babalik pa yung nawala. Alam mo na hindi ka na babalikan pa nung pumanaw. Okay? So, made-depress ka na, malulungkot ka ng sobra-sobra. Kasi alam mo na na hindi na siya babalik. Okay? Kasi you come into awareness of the loss. That is your depression. But in your acceptance, ang keyword nyo para isagot ang acceptance sa board exam is you are coming into the terms of your loss. Coming into terms of the loss. Coming into terms of the loss. Ibig sabihin yan, tinatanggap mo na. Okay? Yung mga anumang mangyari sa pagpanaw ng inyong mahal sa buhay. Kunwari, alam mo na nawala na siya, ngayon mabubuhay ka ng mag-isa, yan. Kailangan mabuhay ka mag-isa, kailangan lumaban ka, that is acceptance na. Again, pag awareness, that is your depression. Coming into terms of the loss, that is your acceptance. Keywords are very strong in your board exam. Napakalakas po natin gamitin yung ating mga keywords para matama yung sagot sa board exam. Aware. Pag nakita mo yung the patient comes into the terms of your death of loved one, that is your acceptance na. Yan, acceptance na po yan. So letter A is the correct answer. Dabda, depression. Next, 82. Which of the following gives cues to the nurse that the patient may be grieving for loss? Ano daw yung mga cues? Ano bang cues? Cues means warning signs or mga signs po yan, palatandaan na siya po ay nagluluksa. Nagluluksa. A. Thoughts, feelings, behavior, and physiologic complaints. B. Hallucination, panic level of anxiety, sense of impending doom. May hallucination po ba kapag nagluluksa? Mali. Mali na yan. C. Sad affect, anger, anxiety, and sudden change of mood. Sad affect, okay lang. Anger and anxiety, hindi po yan normal. Yan. Walang anxiety kapag nagluluksa. Anger, meron. Sudden change of mood, okay lang din yan. Yung iiyak, tapos matutulala, that is sure, okay lang. Yung anxiety, hindi. Next, complaints of abdominal pain, diarrhea, loss of appetite. So, physiologic po itong mga ito. Physiologic signs of your grieving naman. So, ang pinakasagot natin dito is your letter A kasi umbrella technique. Umbrella technique po ito. Letter A is umbrella technique. Yung thoughts, feelings, behavior, tsaka physiologic complaints. So, example ng mga physiologic complaints, mga headache, insomnia, or difficult of sleeping. So, yun po yung mga physiologic complaints natin in terms of your grieving for a loss. So, letter A is the correct answer here. Umbrella technique. Nandyan na yung letter B, letter C, letter D, except yung mga nabilugan ko. Okay? So, A is the correct answer. Umbrella technique of B, C, and D. Next, 83. Which of the following situations will the nurse consider a risk factor for complicated grief? Complicated grief. Pag sinabi mong complicated grief, ito yung mga masyadong matagal kung magluksa. Marami tayong klase ng complicated grief. Yan, na-discuss ko din po yan sa ating YouTube. So, pwede yung panoorin din yun. So, we have your complicated grief. Childbirth. May grieving ba sa childbirth? Wala. Walang grieving dyan. Adjustment lang. Okay? Walang grieving dyan. Kasi childbirth eh. Except na lang kung abortion yung kanyang nilabas. Death of spouse. Namatay yung asawa, namatay yung anak, or namatay by suicide. O kamatayan. Is it a factor or is it a factor for complicated grief? Yes or no? Yes. Kasi iba't iba po yung ating way of grieving. Merong mga namatayan na mabilis lang sila maka-move on or makapagluksa. At meron naman yung matagal bago makapag-move on or makapagluksa. Makapagbabang luksa. So maraming ganyan. Especially kapag ang kamatayan ay masalimuot. Pinatay, pinaslang, o di kaya ay biglang nagkasakit, namatay. So, o di kaya nagpakamatay, wala man lang paabiso na magpapakamatay siya, bigla-biglang namatay. Yun yung mga mabigat sa dimdamin o kaya nakapag-cause ng complicated grief na pwedeng tumagal po yan ng more than 6 months. So, the correct answer here is letter boy. Yan, letter boy is the correct answer. So, death of spouse, child, and death by suicide. Ito yung mga risk factor natin for complicated grief. So letter A, C, and D are wrong options. Tandaan niyo yan. So complicated grief, pwedeng tumagal yung kanilang pagluluksa dyan. Next, 84. As a nurse, which of the following are the critical factors for successful integration of loss during your grieving process? Successful integration. Yan yung keyword natin dito. Critical factor for successful integration of loss during your grieving process. A. The patient's predictable and steady movement. Steady movement makes it wrong. Kailangan nagfo-forward po siya from denial to anger to bargaining. Yan. So, mali po ang ating letter A. Kasi steady movement ang nilagay. Kailangan na moving forward tayo. Hindi yung na-stagnant ka na sa isang stage. Hindi ka na nakapag-adjust sa inyong grieving process. Yan, deny ka na lang ng deny. Yan. O di kaya ay depressed ka na lang lagi. Letter B, accurate assessment and intervention by the nurse or helping person. C, the nurse trustworthiness and healthy attitude about grief. Nurse, nakafocus yung option letter B kay nurse. Yung letter C naman, nakafocus yung option sa ating letter C kay nurse. Kailangan mag-focus ka sa patient. So, ang tingnan mo sa patient, it's perception to the loss, the support system, and the coping mechanism. So, tingnan mo kung ano yung mga meron siya na pwede makatulong sa kanyang grieving process. Okay? Aware na ba siya sa nawala? Sino yung mga support system niya? Ano yung mga coping mechanism na nagamit na niya dati na naging successful din para makamove on with the same loss? Ma'am, may namatay na po ba kayong dating mga mga mahal sa buhay? Ano po yung ginawa ninyo para kayo po ay makapag-move forward? So ayun, wala po ma'am, ano lamang po, lalabas lang po. Gawin nyo lang po ulit yan para maano yung isip ninyo sa loss yan. So diretso letter D, parang kayo kapag nagipaghiwalay kayo, di ba? Hindi pa pwede na iniisip mo na lang lagi yan. Kailangan mag-isip ka ng coping mechanism para mawala siya sa isip mo. Yan. Maglamierda, mamasyal-masyal. So yung mga coping mechanisms natin. Huwag kang magkulong sa kwarto, lumabas ka palagi. So, that is your coping mechanisms. Alamin mo yung mga coping mechanisms na naging effective na dati na pwede niya magamit ulit ngayon. That is your letter D. So, these are the factors that will help for your patient successful integration for its grieving process. So, letter D is the correct answer para makapag-adjust po siya ulit. Okay, so yun. So, alamin mo yung mga ginawa na niya dati kasi yung mga bagay na yan, pwedeng nauulit-ulit naman yung mga loss na yan eh. Anong ginawa mo dati? Paano ka nakamove on agad? Ganon. Kasi pag sinabi mong loss, hindi lang naman yan death eh. Pwedeng relationship, kipaghiwalay, yan. Pwedeng nawalan ng gamit. Ganon yun. So, alamin mo yung mga coping mechanisms niya. At saka yung ating mga support system. Sino pong kasama nyo sa bahay? Mag-isa lamang po ba kayo? Mas nakakabuti po ma'am, umuwi muna kayo para may makakausap kayo sa bahay. Huwag muna kayo mag-isa sa bahay. Ganun yun. Okay? So, kailangan kasi mawala sa isip mo yung bagay na nawala. Libangin ang sarili, kumbaga. Next situation, Lulu. Lulu is a 10-year-old grade 4 pupil in a private school and has just lost her best friend, Charlotte, who died of leukemia. Her mother brought her to the emergency room, who reported that Lulu has been gloomy and often expresses feeling of joining Charlotte in heaven. Lagi daw niyang sinasabi na gusto na niyang samahan si Charlotte sa heaven. So, number 85. Which of the following is the precipitating factor of Lulu's feeling of wanting to die? Risk factor or precipitating factor? Ano po ang nag-uudyok kay Lulu na gusto na rin niyang mamatay? A. The death of Charlotte. B. Her age. C. Her authoritative mother. Or D. Her fear of death. So, syempre, tatanggalin mo letter D. Takot pala siyang mamatay. Bakit mo ilalagay yan? Gusto na nga niyang mamatay. So, contradicting siya sa ating STEM question. So, mali yung ating letter D. Her age. Ilang taon na ba si Lulu? 10-year-old. Yan, 10 years old pa lamang po si Lulu. So her age will not be a precipitating factor kasi alam na po na niya yan. At 9 years old, alam na po ng bata that death is irreversible. So, hindi basta-bastang ano lang yung kamatayan sa mga bata, especially kapag more than 9 years old na sila. Kasi pag sinabi nilang gusto nilang mamatay, alam na nila yung ibig sabihin ng kamatayan. So, it is not a precipitating factor yung age niya. Kasi alam naman na niya yung meaning of death, yung concept of death at 9 years old. Bakit niya sasabihin na gusto na rin niyang mamatay? So, hindi po yan precipitating factor. Kasi at 9 years old, child knows now that death is irreversible. They know now the concept of death at 9 years old. Tandaan niyo yan. So, letter B, mali po yan. So, letter A or letter C, wala naman pong binanggit sa ating situation na authoritative yung mother niya. Ang nabanggit sa situation ay namatay yung best friend niya. So, since best friend niya po yan, lagi niyang kasama, so yan yung nag-uudyok kay Charlotte na gusto na rin niyang mamatay para samahan yung si best friend niya. Yan, okay? So, gusto na rin ni Lolo mamatay kasi namatay si Charlotte na best friend niya. So, letter A is the correct answer. Okay? So, sinakakuha po nun. Huwag niyong kakalimutan. Letter A is the correct answer. Number 86. Lulu's feeling of joining Charlotte in heaven is a manifestation of. Take note and circle the word feeling. Feeling of joining Charlotte in heaven. A. Suicidal intent. B. Suicidal threat. C. Paranoia. Or D. Suicidal ideation. So, tanggalin natin dito ang paranoia kasi hindi po paranoid si Charlotte. So, always remember kapag may tao po, kaya na nagsabing magpapakamatay siya, gusto niyang mamatay, take it seriously. Huwag mong isipin na, napaparanoid ka na naman. Take it seriously. Suicide should be taken seriously. Okay? So, it's either letter A, letter B, letter D. Alin po dito? Pag sinabi mong intent, intent is the act na meron ka ng ginawa. Okay? Kumbaga, nag-attempt ka na ng suicide. Intent ang tawag doon. Actions na po yan. Pag may actions ka nang nakikita, suicidal intent na po yan. Pag mga verbal threats, that is, yan, verbal naman, suicidal threat yan. Mamayang gabi, pag tulog kayo, isasabit ko yung sarili ko. That is suicidal threat. Mamaya mabili ako ng lubid, magpapatiwakal na ako. That is suicidal threat. Okay? Threat po 'yun pag mga verbal, okay? Pero pag ito ay feelings at saka mga feelings at saka yung mga thoughts lang, that is ideation. So the correct answer here is letter D, suicidal ideation. Kasi pinagplaplanuhan pa lang niya. Nasa loob pa lamang ng kanyang isipan or ng kanyang feelings. That is your letter D. Thoughts and feelings are ideation. Huwag niyong kakalimutan. Nakakasabay, hindi. Yan. Kailangan kasi matapos na natin to before 12. Thoughts and feelings. Pag thoughts and feelings, ideation. Pag verbal, that is threat. Pag action, that is intent. Yan. Okay, sinakakuha. 86, suicidal ideation. Okay. Ayan, sinamarize ko na lamang po ito. Kahit hindi nyo nakopyahin yan. So, yung ideation, ito yung mga includes the wish to be dead, considering method to accomplish death, or formulating plans to carry it. Ideation yun. Yan, yung mga wishing to be dead, yung gusto na niyang mamatay, yan. Tapos, thinking about personal death, mga method to accomplish death, tapos yung formulating plans to carry it out. Ang threat naman, verbal statement. Yan. To kill or to harm oneself. Ang intent naman, ito naman na po yung ating mga deliberate self-killing one's purpose. Ito na yung mga ito na yung mga actions na. Yan, actions na po yan. Yan. So letter dog is the correct answer. Okay po? So, huwag niyong kakalimutan yan. Suicidal intent, suicidal threat, suicidal ideation. Next, number 87. Lulu states, I will hang myself. This is a manifestation of A. Denial, B. Suicidal threat, C. Suicidal intent, or D. Paranoia. So, tanggalin natin dito yung denial tsaka paranoia kasi hindi po siya part ng ating suicide. So, B or C ang sagot. I will hang myself. Intent or threat? Intent or threat? Threat po yan. Okay? So, the correct answer is suicidal threat. Nagbabanta na siya. I will hang myself. So, any suicidal threat should be taken seriously. So, kailangan kapag meron ng ganyang nagbabanta na sila, you must institute a 24-hour close observation with the patient. So, you must stay with the patient and ask the patient to sign a contract of no harming of self in 24 hours. And take note, renewable po yun every 24 hours. Okay? Tapos na ang 24 hours, congratulations kasi hindi mo nga sinaktan ng iyong sarili. Ngayon, i-renew natin ito ha. So, for the next 24 hours, huwag mo ulit sasaktan yung iyong sarili. That is your 24 hours contract of no harming of self. That is the best technique. Okay? That is the best technique po natin para hindi po matuloy ang suicide ng patient. 24-hour contract of no self-harm. Yan, yun yung tawag natin. 24 hours contract of no self-harm. So, dito sa ating 24 hours contract na ito, it needs monitoring and close observation of your patient. Number 88. Which of the following is the best predictor of adolescent attempting suicide? So, take note adolescent po ang tinatanong dito. Magpapakamatay ka ba kapag joyful ka? Siyempre hindi. Sino ang masayang magpapakamatay? Okay? Feeling of euphoria. Heaven ang feeling mo dito. High na high ka. Yan, euphoria means heaven. Yan, parang nasa langit ang iyong kaligayahan. Parang umaantaw dito, nasa alapaap yung feeling mo. Nasa cloud nine yung feeling mo, euphoria. Okay? So, syempre hindi magpapakamatay yan. So, it's either yung depressed or yung hopeless ang magpapakamatay. Pero ang tanong, alin daw dito yung pinaka-best predictor? Ibig sabihin yan, pasok silang dalawa. Si depression at saka si hopelessness. Pero ang tinatanong po dito is the best predictor. Is it depressed mood or your hopelessness? So ano po dito ang mas the best predictor? Yung nade-depress or naho-hopeless? Yung feeling niya wala na talagang pag-asa, wala na talaga. So that is your strongest predictor. Tandaan niyo yan, strongest predictor for adolescent suicide is hopelessness. It's not your depressed mood. Kasi wala pong nagpapakamatay na depressed. Tsaka lang po sila magpapakamatay kapag nag-escalate na po yung kanilang energy after a period of depression. Okay? So, hindi sila magpapakamatay kapag depressed sila. Magpapakamatay po sila kapag nag-escalate na yung kanilang energy. If there is not enough energy to institute the suicide plan, doon na sila magpapakamatay. Pero pag depressed pa po yung mood nila, hindi pa po sila magpapakamatay dyan. Okay? So, mga pwedeng next week or next week, dyan sila magpapakamatay kapag medyo tumataas na yung energy nila or nanunumbalik na yung kanilang energy. Kaya nga, yung mga depressed na tao, tingnan mo yan. Kung biglang nagbago yung kanilang behavior, dati nakita mo lang depressed yan. Nagkukulong, hindi lumalabas, ayaw mag-reply sa mga chat mo. Ngayon biglang nagyaya, pre halika, inuman tayo, may ibibigay ako sa'yo. O pumunta ka sa bahay nila, tuwang-tuwa, pumunta ka. Ang saya niya that night. Tapos nagulat ka, pinapamigay na niya yung mga Jordan shoes niya, yung mga paborito niyang jacket. Doon ka magulat. Why? Kasi giving away your possessions, especially mamahaling gamit mo, that is also a warning sign of your suicide. Okay? So, ikaw naman, tuwang-tuwa ka, kinuha mo naman, ay, salamat pre, salamat. Di mo naman alam, yun na pala yung ating warning sign na magpapakamatay yung best friend mo. O ingatan mo yan ha, mahal ng bili ko niyan, sa'yo na yan, hindi ko na yan magagamit. Ay, thank you best, gumaganong ka pa. Pag ganun po, kailangan mong i-break yung suicide plan niya. Tanungin mo siya agad, i-confront mo agad yung kaibigan mo, huy, Ba't ganyan yung attitude mo ngayon? Magpapakamatay ka ba? Ganon yun, okay? Kailangan mong direktahin siyang tanungin, magpapakamatay ka ba? May plano ka bang magpakamatay? Ganon yun. Para matigil po yung kanyang ginagawa. Kasi once po na malaman ng mga taong yan na may nakakapansin po sa kanilang nararamdaman, yan, bigla na lang siyang hahagulgol, iiyak na yan. Pre, gago ka pre, ba't mo nasabi yan? Ganyan. Di ka nga dito, mag-usap tayo, gaganyan ka. Magkukwento na yan. So, yun na yun. So, wag yung tatanggapin mo naman, ikaw naman to, tinanggap mo naman, inuwi mo, kinaumagaan na, balitaan mo, patay na si best friend. So, yun yun, okay? So, again, ulitin ko, pag adolescent po yan, more on hopelessness po yung ating best predictor sa suicide. O, diba? Ang galing kong mag-istoryahe. Ganun po yun. Strongest factor natin dyan is hopelessness. O, di ba? So, dapat pag may namimigay ng gamit at alam niyo yung mga gamit na yun is paborito nila, kahit biruin mo lang na tanungin, huy, ano ka na, magpapakamatay ka ba? Ba't mo pinapamigay ang gamit mo? Dati-dati, ayaw mong pagalaw yan sa akin. Ganun yun. So, para ma-break natin yung chain of suicide. Kailangan may gawin tayo dyan. Kailangan hindi tayo pwedeng maang-maangan kung alam mo yung mga bagay na yan. Hindi mo alam, makapag-save ka pa ng buhay. Okay? So, what's your problem? Come here. Let's talk about it. Tell me more. Gaganyan ka. Therapeutic communication. Number 89. Lulus states, I wish I were dead. I cannot stand anymore not having Charlotte around. Your most appropriate nursing action would be, A, ito na yung sinasabi ko, do nothing. Maang-maangan, inignore mo lang, kinaumagahan, patay na si best friend. So, letter A, mali. Sabi ko, take it seriously. Yan, mali po ang ating letter A. Letter B, refer Lulu to your supervisor. Nurse ka, bakit mo i-refer yung supervisor? Tayo po yung nag-aral ng therapeutic communication. Bakit mo i-refer yan sa supervisor? Mali po yan. C, stay with Lulu. Or D, explore Lulu's feeling. Anong mas isasagot natin? Stay with Lulu or explore Lulu's feeling? Kasi ang dami nagkamali po niyan sa board exam. Stay or explore? Kasi parehas po silang therapeutic. So, anong mas the best? Stay or explore Lulu's feeling? Sino sumagot na explore? Magdodora ka muna. Ha? Okay, the correct answer here is stay with Lulu. Kasi that is a suicidal threat already. So, ibig sabihin yan, meron talagang chance na magpapakamatay na si Lulu. So, it needs a 24 hours close observation. So, letter C is the correct answer. Although exploration is a therapeutic communication, hindi na applicable sa ating situation yan ngayon. Kasi nga, meron na siyang suicidal threat. Meron na siyang suicidal ideation. Okay? So, letter C is the correct answer. Okay, nakuha po? Yeah. Next, number 90. Yan, sabi dito, one-to-one constant supervision is appropriate for suicidal patient who are now considered as at high risk. Suicidality exists in a continuum beginning with ideation, progressing to threats, gestures, attempts, and suicide. So, step by step kasi yan. Nauna kasi kanina, di ba, meron siyang ideation. Tapos, nag-verbal threat po siya. Ngayon, andyan na yung gesture niya na gustong-gusto niya talagang samahan si Charlotte. So, next na step na dyan is attempt na, then suicide. So, kailangan mo nang bantayan si Lulu. Huwag mo na siyang iwan. Okay? So, letter C is the correct answer. Okay? Next question, number 90. 10 na lang. Anong oras na ba? Yan. 1 minute per question. Number 90. Mary is pacing. Keyword pacing. Ano bang pacing? Hindi mapakali. Lakad dyan, lakad dito. Complaining of financial problems and repeatedly utters multiple different lines. Ang bilis niya magsalita. Repeatedly utters multiple different lines. Nurse Cordova asked the client if something is upsetting happened and Mary's response is vague and not focus on the question. Keyword, not focus on the question. So Nurse Cordova assessed Mary's level of anxiety as A. Panic, B. Severe, C. Moderate, or D. Mild. Sumagot po ba si Mary? Yes or no? Sumagot po ba? Yes, sumagot siya. Kasi sabi dito, Mary's response. Kasi tatanggalin natin dito yung panic. Bakit? Kasi ang panic hindi na nakakasagot. So mali po kayo pag kayo nagsagot ng panic. Syempre lang isagot mo yung mild, mali din yung mild. Kasi not focus on the question tapos nagpe-pacing na po siya. So is it severe or is it moderate? Tandaan niyo, pag panic na po yung level of anxiety mo, hindi ka na nakakasagot sa mga tanong. Kaya yan yung iwasan ninyo pag nag-board exam kayo. Huwag kayong mag-panic. Yan. So the correct answer here is severe, not moderate. Yan, severe. Yung moderate is lang yan, medyo okay pa ng kaunti. Ang sagot natin dyan, severe. Sabi dito, mild anxiety is okay. Okay lang po na makaramdam kayo ng anxiety pagdating ng October. Mga last week of October, bago final coaching, okay lang na makaramdam kayo ng mild anxiety. Kasi nakakatulong din po yan para mag-widen yung perception ninyo. Tsaka nagiging alert po kayo sa mga tanong sa board exam. Lumalaki yung mata mo pag nabasa mo yung except, yung mga not, yung mga unlikely, yan, needs understanding, yun yung mga lumalaki yung mata mo dapat. Pero pag nasa moderate anxiety ka na, medyo nahihirapan ka ng sumagot ng tanong niyan. Bakit? Kapag di mo na-manage yung anxiety level mo, nagkakaroon ka dito ng inability to solve problem. Mapapansin mo yan sa sarili mo kung nagkakaroon ng moderate anxiety. Kahit paulit at paulit mong tinatanong paulit at paulit mong binabasa yung tanong, di mo maintindihan yung tanong. Bakit? Kasi ikaw ay meron ng moderate anxiety. I-relax mo muna yung sarili mo, then basahin mo ulit yung tanong. Okay? Doon mapapansin mo, kaya pala except pala ang tinatanong. Okay? Kasi di mo napapansin yun kasi nga kapag ikaw ay meron ng moderate anxiety, medyo nagle-lessen po yung ating concentration. Okay? So yun. So nakafocus ka na lang sa mga central concerns at meron ka na ditong inability to solve problems. Yan. Pag may assistance, syempre sa board exam, wala na ng assistance yan. Okay? So that's your moderate. Sa severe naman, meron ka na ditong difficulty focusing. Tapos, excessive motor activity, di ka na mapakali. Yan yun. Pacing hallways. Di ka na mapakali. Pag panic level, reduce na yung perception mo. Hindi ka na nakakasagot. Kung tinanong ka, di ka sumagot agad. Ha? Ano yon? Ganun. O di kaya, huy, kanina pa kita kausap, ano nangyayari sa iyo? O di kaya, nagsishakiness na yung kamay mo, nagdi-DOB ka na, yan, nag-hyperventilate ka na, that is your panic level of anxiety. Characterized by complete inability to focus and reduce perception. So, ang sagot lang natin dyan, severe anxiety, kasi may pacing lang at difficulty on focusing. Kasi nakaka-respond pa naman siya. Yun nga lang, hindi siya nakafocus sa tinanong mo. Nung tinanong mo siya, vague yung sagot niya, sari-sari ang sagot niya. Napaka-general ng sagot niya, hindi specific sa inyong tanong. So that is your severe anxiety. And that is a question last May 2022 board exam. Next, number 91. Nurse Cordova observes Mary pacing in the hallway, which statement by the nurse may help the client recognize his anxiety. Alin daw dito makakatulong sa pasyente para malaman niyang siya ay may anxiety? A. Have you been pacing for a long time? Yes or no naman ang sagot nito, kaya mali yan. Diba sabi ko, when you are questioning your patient, always ask a question answerable not by yes or no. It should be a open-ended question, not a close-ended question. Huwag kang magtanong ng answerable ng yes or no. Mali po yun. Non-therapeutic po yun. So, letter A is non-therapeutic kasi answerable po siya ng yes or no. Letter B, I guess you are worried about something, aren't you? I guess. Or letter C, I notice. Acknowledgement. I notice that you're pacing. How are you feeling? Or letter D, can I get you some medication to help calm you? Mali yun, okay? Can I get some medication agad? Mali po yan. So, is it letter B or letter C? I guess or I notice? Anong mas therapeutic? I guess or I notice? I notice. Acknowledging your patient behavior is more therapeutic than your giving assumption or I guess. So, letter C is the correct answer. I notice that you are pacing. How are you feeling? So, acknowledgement and exploration. So, letter C is more therapeutic for the client. Letter C. Next, number 92. Emilio, an 83-year-old male client, was at an extended care facility. He is anxious most of the time and frequently complains of a number of vague symptoms that interfere with his ability to eat. These symptoms indicate which of the following disorder? A. Hypochondriasis. B. Conversion disorder. C. Sublimation or D. Severe anxiety. Severe anxiety, tatanggalin natin dito yung ating severe anxiety kasi ang tinatanong is disorder. Yan. A. Hypochondriasis, B. Conversion, or C. Sublimation. Sublimation is your defense mechanism. So it is not a sublimation. Hindi naman po siya defense mechanism. B or A? Ano po yan? A or B? Conversion or hypochondriasis? Nakakaramdaw daw po siya ng number of vague symptoms. That is a term for hypochondriasis. Hypochondriasis. Okay, so letter A is the correct answer. Why? Kasi pag sinabi po nating hypochondriasis, it is a complaints of vague physical symptoms that have no apparent medical causes by your patient. Ito yung mga vague complaints of signs and physical symptoms. Nakakaramdam ka ng mga physical symptoms na wala ka namang medical causes. May medical cause po ba sinabi dito? Wala. Anxious lang siya. Tapos meron siya mga vague symptoms na nararamdaman. Kaya hindi siya nakakakain ng maayos. So, ang tawag dyan, hypochondriasis. Yan. He's anxious most of the time and frequently complains of a number of vague symptoms that interfere with his ability to eat. So A, hypochondriasis. So in many cases, the GI system is affected in hypochondriasis, kaya hindi siya nakakakain. Okay? Yung conversion disorder naman natin, it is characterized by one or more neurologic symptoms dapat. Conversion disorders. Tapos, yung ating severe anxiety, wala naman pong pinapakita dito ang severe anxiety. Yan. So, ang sublimation, defense mechanism po yan sa ating mga patients na may mga maladaptive behaviors, tapos dinadivert nila ito sa mga more productive activities. Yan. Or mga acceptable behaviors. May mga maladaptive behavior, tapos dinadivert nila yung kanilang gawain sa mga more acceptable behavior by the society. So, letter A is the correct answer. Hypochondriasis. 93, Mark with diagnosis of generalized anxiety disorder wants to stop taking his lorazepam. Ativan, benzodiazepine, lorazepam. Which of the following important facts should Nurse Cordova discuss with the client about discontinuing medication? Stopping the drug, blank. Pag mga lorazepam or mga benzodiazepines, hindi po siya pwedeng bigla-biglaan lang na ini-stop. Abrupt stoppage of medication is dangerous to your patient kasi nga pwede po siya magkaroon ng mga withdrawal symptoms. Yan, withdrawal symptoms. So, kailangan, lahat naman hindi lang naman benzodiazepines, kahit anong gamot po yan. So, kung gusto mong tigilan na ang pagtitake ng gamot, you must taper down the dosage. Yan, taper down the dosage, do not abruptly stop taking medications. Mapanong man yan, mapa-MS man yan, mapa-psych man yan, bawal pong biglaing ititigil mo yung pag-take ng gamot mo. Okay, kailangan unti-untiin mong stop. Hindi yung Gusto mo nang itigil, di ka na nag-take ngayong araw hanggang bukas, hindi pa pwede yun. Kailangan you must taper down the dosage of your medication until na makapag-adjust yung katawan mo, then until completely stoppage of your medication therapy. So, ang sagot natin dito, it can cause withdrawal symptoms. Lahat yan. Lahat ng klase ng gamot, hindi pa pwedeng biglain mong itigil kasi magkakaroon ka ng withdrawal symptoms. Naintindihan po ba? Withdrawal symptoms. Next, number 94. Nurse Cordova is having a conversation with a depressed client in an inpatient psychiatric unit. The client says to her, "Thing would be so much better for everyone if I just weren't around." Siguro mas mapapagaan ang mga bagay-bagay kapag wala na ako dito, sabi niya. Which of the following would be the most appropriate response? A. You sound very unhappy. Are you thinking of harming yourself? B. Those feelings will go away once your medication really takes effect. False reassurance yung letter B na yan. At saka belittling feelings, parang dinisregard mo yung kanyang nararamdaman. Belittling and false reassurance. Letter B, mali. Negative po ito. Kasi ang hinanap natin is positive answer. Belittling and false reassurance, negative. Have you talked to anyone specifically about what is bothering you? Have you talked to anyone? Or letter D, I know what you mean. Everyone gets. Belittling na naman po ito. Belittling is non-therapeutic communication. So is it letter A or letter C? If I just weren't around. Kung wala ako dito. So there is a plan of patient for suicidal, okay? For suicide. So the best answer here is you sound very unhappy. Are you thinking of harming yourself? So that is the most therapeutic, most appropriate response by Cordova. Okay? Tanungin mo na, bakit yun ang sinabi niya? May plano ka bang magpakamatay? So letter A is the correct answer. Okay? Next, number 95. NP5 question, May 2022 board exam. During assessment of cognitive impairment post-stroke patient, the nurse documents that the patient was experiencing memory loss and impaired learning capacity. The nurse knows that the brain damage has most likely occurred in which lobe? Keyword, memory loss and impaired learning capacity. Diba, biro-biroan lagi sa school kapag malapad ang noo mo, mataas ang memory mo. Pag malapad ang noo mo, magaling ang learning capacity mo. So kapag ikaw ay nagkaroon ng damage sa noo mo or sa frontal lobe ng ulo mo, affected din ang memory mo at saka yung learning capacity mo. So the correct answer here is frontal lobe. Letter A is the correct answer. Diba, biro-biroan lagi yan. Uy, ang lapad ng noo, siguro ito'y matalino. Okay? So letter C is the correct answer. Sinakakuha. Yan, di ba? Ganun yun. Pag malapad ang noo, mataas ang memorya nito. Magaling yung kanyang learning capacity. Letter C is the correct answer. Frontal lobe. So frontal lobe damage results in impaired learning capacity, memory, and other higher cortical intellectual functions. So bukod po sa ating impaired learning capacity and memory loss, kapag tinamaan po ang ating frontal lobe ng ating brain, it will also affect your reasoning, problem solving, your personality, your motor speech, kasi nandyan yung ating Broca's area, motor speech. So alam naman natin na sa likod naman, occipital area naman, alam naman natin yan na for vision po yan. Kapag nanlalabo ang mata mo, pwedeng affected yung occipital lobe mo. So pwedeng high blood ka. Ganun yon. Kaya nga kapag high blood ka, di ba, minsan masakit yung batok mo, tapos nanlalabo yung paningin mo, kasi sa occipital lobe, nandyan yung vision mo. Sa temporal naman, nandito naman po yung ating language, hearing. Kung anong malapit sa tenga mo, temporal. Hearing po yan. Okay? Ano pa? Yung Wernicke's area natin. Yan. So, sa parietal naman, more on sa sensations naman po yan. Sa mga pandama. Sensations. Again, parietal, sensation, occipital vision, temporal hearing, and sensory speech. Pakilagay na lang dyan. Temporal hearing. Hearing and memory. Meron din kasi ditong memory. Frontal, sagot natin dyan. Occipital vision. Okay, parietal, sensory. Yan, sensory. Yan, so letter A, B, and D are incorrect answers. Occipital vision, parietal sensory, temporal hearing, and memory. Last 5 questions. Number 96. A patient is brought to the emergency department with a possible stroke. Stroke, and circle the word stroke. What is the initial diagnostic test? A. Carotid ultrasound. B. Transcranial Doppler flow study. C. 12-lead ECG. Or D. Non-contrast computed tomogram or CT scan. So, di ba kapag may tinatakbo sa hospital, o CT scan yan. The correct answer is letter dog. Non-contrast computed tomography. Kunwari, walang malay. Ano nangyari? Sir, na-stroke yata. Nawalan po ng malay bigla. Okay, sige, i-CT scan nyo yan. Okay, so that's for letter D. Non-contrast computed tomography. Sinakakuha. Lumabas din po yan last May 2022. Same question, same choices. Yan, same question, same choices. Next, number 97. An emergency department nurse is awaiting the arrival of a client with signs of ischemic stroke began 1 hour ago. So, recombinant tissue plasminogen activator or TPA must be administered within how many hours of the onset of clinical signs of ischemic stroke? Lumabas din po ito last May board exam. Tinanong how many hours from the onset of clinical signs of ischemic stroke. So, kailangan maibigay mo na po ang TPA within the span of 3 hours. Letter B. Okay, kailangan mabigay mo na po yan within the span of 3 hours. So, letter B is the correct answer. TPA, keyword mo, 3 letters, 3 hours. Kailangan nabigay mo na yan in 3 hours within the onset of clinical signs of ischemic stroke. 3 hours. Letter B. Sinakuha. Yeah, that is the golden hours. Kailangan masave mo siya within the first 3 hours. 98. You are the nurse caring for an elderly adult who is bedridden. What intervention would you include in the care plan that would most effectively prevent pressure ulcer? A. Turn and reposition the patient every hour. B. Vigorously. Take note, vigorously means negative word po yan. Pag vigorous, that is negative word. Vigorous exercise, vigorous massage, negative words po ang vigorous. Okay? Over massage ang tawag dyan. Over exercise, over massage kapag ito ay vigorous. Okay? So, mali ang vigorous. Mali ang vigorous. Mali yan. Letter B, mali ang vigorous na word. Letter C, post a turning schedule at the patient bedside and ensure staff adherence. Letter D is slide rather than lift. Mali ang slide kasi friction may happen. At kapag may friction, it is a predisposing factor of your pressure ulcer or bed sore. It is better to lift than to slide. Mali po ang letter D. Baliktad. Okay? When you are turning the patient, do not slide the patient on bed. Kasi there is a risk of friction and friction creates pressure. And pressure causes ulceration. So, letter D is wrong. Letter A or letter C? Ano sagot nyo? Correct answer, letter C. You must post a turning schedule at the patient bedside and ensure staff adherence. Every 2 hours po ang ating turning. Every 2 hours turning on bed. Every hour, mali. So, it should be every 2 hours. So, letter C is the correct answer. Kaya makikita mo yung mga tineturn natin sa bed, may schedule yan na may schedule yan na nakapaskil kung kailan mo ulit siya ito-turn. Kasi every 2 hours dapat naka-turn po siya sa kanyang position. Yung ating every hour, hindi po yan every hour. Every 2 hours po dapat. Next, number 99. The nurse is caring for a patient newly diagnosed with HIV. The patient asks what would determine the actual development of AIDS. Magkaiba po ang HIV sa AIDS natin. Okay? So, tsaka mo lang matatawag na AIDS kapag nakita mo itong diagnostic criterion natin. The diagnostic criterion of AIDS is a below 200 CD4 cell level. So, the correct answer here is letter boy. Pag nakita mo na po na less than 200 na lang yung kanyang CD4 cells, that is AIDS category na po yan. So, the answer is letter boy. Yung letter A, pwedeng HIV lang yan. Okay? So, aside sa ating CD4 cell level less than 200, any presence also of your opportunistic infection can be a criteria also for AIDS. Ano yung opportunistic infection natin? PCP, Kaposi sarcoma, yan. Hodgkin disease, yan. Anong PCP? Pneumocystic carinii pneumonia. Yan, the pneumocystic carinii pneumonia at saka Kaposi sarcoma. Pag nakita mo na yan, ibig sabihin po niyan, si patient ay AIDS na. So pag meron kayo nakikitang may mga sugat-sugat sa katawan or mga lesions sa katawan, that is the Kaposi sarcoma of AIDS. Hindi na HIV yan, AIDS na po yung category nila kapag may mga sugat-sugat na yung kanilang balat. Yan. Kadalasan makikita mo yan, naka long sleeve sila, naka pajama, yan. Balot na balot yung katawan nila. That is AIDS category. Less than 200 CD4 cells, PCP and Kaposi sarcoma or any opportunistic infection can be a criteria for having AIDS category, not HIV. AIDS ka na kapag ganun, hindi HIV. And last number, which of the following is an indicator of effective communication? Effective ang communication or transmission of information if there is a feedback. Naintindihan nyo ba? Pag sumagot ka ng yes, that is a feedback. So, ibig sabihin yan, effective yung ating communication. So, may natutunan po ba tayo? Again, so pag tinanong, indicator of effective communication, ano sagot? Feedback. And that is the favorite question of your nursing board exam. Feedback. And that is the end of our rationalization. Yeah, so papasa na po ba sa board exam? So hawak na po natin yung mga katanungan. Yan. So all you need to do is review, basa lang ng basa, ulit-ulitin nyo lang siyang basahin. Para pagdating sa board exam, familiarize na kayo sa tanong at alam nyo na yung tamang sagot. So, ayan. Sa mga nagre-request ng please lang yung mga nangangailangan lang yung mag-request kasi baka mamaya mag-request kayo, di naman kailangan ng school ninyo. Yung nangangailangan lang ng certificate. Yung humingi ng certificate, yan. Ilan po ang passing score? Per subject, ang passing score is around nasa 4, hindi. Nasa 50 plus. Yan. 50 plus dapat ang score mo. Yan. 50 plus. Nung pandemic, 40 plus binabaan nila pero binalik na ulit nila yung raw score of 50 para makuha mo yung 60% average. Yan. Per subject po yun pero wag nyong i-meet yung 50 talaga. Lang mas mataas pa. Ayan. Okay, so mamayang gabi magawa ko ng certificate para sa mga nahingi. Yung mga kailangan lamang po sa school 78 mataas na po yan. Nasa line of 87 na yan. Or 9, mga ganyan na nga rating na yan. 15 years na walang review. Wow, magaling. 82, wow, very good. 86 si Ma'am Joanna May. Halimaw to. Diagnostic pa yan. Wala pang ano yan Wala pang lecture niyan. Yan. So, Congrats sa mga nakapasa at umabot sa ating score, which is 50. So mamaya, balik po tayo mga 1:30 for the continuation of our communicable diseases. Yan. Okay?